Can you imagine the Columbus Blue Jackets going all in at the trade deadline and not making the playoffs? A terrifying scenario for a club that's made it back-to-back years, still trying to win their first round in the playoffs. You two, before the night unfolded, news breaking how John Tortorella was going to handle this home and home. Front end of it, he decides not to go with Bob in uniform, and you felt strongly about it. Why?
Well, because, listen, I'm sitting there looking to myself. You have a goaltender in Sergei Bobrovsky who has struggled against the Pittsburgh Penguins, but also this team has struggled since they've been in Columbus against the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the Penguins have dominated the situation, this matchup, for the last 2 seasons. And my problem is this is no knock, no indictment on Jonas Korpisalo. But why would Sergei, give me one reason why Korpisalo shouldn't start this game. I mean, you've got a huge game. You've got Bobrovsky should start this game.
Yeah.
Why is Korpisalo starting it? You have this team a home and home today, and then you have them on Saturday, okay? So you've got, this could be the season. So all those moves that you made at the deadline saying, we're pushing all of our chips in, you're not starting your 2-time Vezina winner? I don't understand it. I don't get it. There's nothing that makes sense to me in this. And even if they won this game, you can't lose Sergei Bobrovsky, because the way you make these moves, it's not to win a series, it's to go deep on a run. This team will not go on a run. And again, no indictment to Keith Kincaid or Jonas Korpisalo. They will not go on a run unless Sergei Bobrovsky's in net. He's the only one that will take them multiple rounds. You're going to lose him. If you haven't lost him already this year, you're losing him with this decision. I don't get it. I don't understand it. If you need this goalie to get his way out of it, to feel good against the Pittsburgh Penguins, you don't shelter him from the Pittsburgh Penguins. He has to play in this game on Saturday now, and he's got one game now before the playoffs where they could meet up. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
And then these numbers. You guys pointed this out in the meeting.
If one was to start, it's Keith Kincaid. Keith Kincaid has dominated when he was in Jersey, the Pittsburgh Penguins, as the Devils have dominated the Penguins the last 2 seasons. I just don't understand in any way. And you can also hear maybe the decision is, well, we're in the now. We have to make the playoffs. I'm not thinking that far down. So you're telling me that your message to your team and your starting goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky, is your message is the best way for us to win today is with you in the stands? I don't understand it, man. I really don't. I don't know the logic behind it, but it doesn't make sense to me. Nothing matches up as far as what the team has done deadline time to go for a run in this decision on your goaltending.
Yeah, I mean, that's great points, Rupper. I mean, those are hard to argue.
He didn't play the position. And yet he's this fired up. I can only imagine what you're thinking.
Well, listen, I was fortunate in a sense to play with a lot of Hall of Fame guys and guys that are close to being Hall of Fame goalies. And no matter how well I was playing, if we were coming down the stretch, I wasn't playing ahead of those guys. So be it Lundqvist, be it Habby Bullen, I mean, you can go up at Marty. I mean, we can go up and down the list. They usually go with their ace. When you're playing with an ace, you usually go with that ace. So I coming into this game, I figured Bobrovsky would have been starting. I didn't even think it was a thing when we got here today. But I don't know. I don't understand the logic in the decision, because you make a lot of great points there. You can't counter that.
It's comparable if you're sitting there and say I'm on the Pittsburgh Penguins, I need to make the playoffs. Our team needs to make the playoffs. Mike Rupp is a 4th-line center, Evgeny Malkin, or Sidney Crosby's the top-line center, which he is on that team. When you look at this situation, it would be like, listen, Sid has been struggling lately. Rupper, we're going to move you up to the first line in a must-win game. Sid, take the night off. I mean, it's insane to think that way. That is what's going on in this situation. I don't understand it. This team is not going to win without Bobrovsky in net. That's why you kept him, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't feel that way and you weren't all in and picking up Matt Duchene and Dzingel and McQuaid and doing all these things, it's just, nothing makes sense to me. So now you have to put him in here on Saturday. I can't imagine them not putting him in on Saturday.
There's no way he doesn't go Saturday.
I can't imagine. I mean, unless you're going to go Keith Kincaid.
Go tonight.
How about that?
I thought, when we got here, I thought he was going. So I don't know. It's just, let's look at it from a football standpoint. From a football standpoint, if that's the Steelers, Roethlisberger's playing, no? Right? You start going around. If it's KC, it's Patrick Mahomes, right? So Tom Brady, if it's New England. I mean, we know all the names. So it's really no different at the quarterback or the goalie position. Unless there's something that happened, I don't know, maybe he's dinged up. But if he's not dinged up, I'm with you. You got to go with your best. in the big spots. You want to go with your best, give your team the best chance to win.
Last thing for you. He said you don't want to lose him emotionally. We know how good Bob is. Is it possible that he could be lost already based on all the drama we've heard that's unfolded there?
I think the biggest thing that people forget sometimes is that we're in the people business too. So it's not the X's and O's. It's not the technical elements only. It's not your reflexes, your reads, your angles, power play, penalty kill, scoring chances. At the root of all that, it's people. So that's a big part of it. So the players have emotions too. They're people.
Yeah.
They're not robots.
Yeah.
And, you know, it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, we've countless players that we've played with. Vinny LeCavier, Brad Richards, we could go, Henrik Lundqvist. They've got, and now Jonathan Quick. People have emotions too. So that's a big part of it. People don't talk about that, but that's a huge part of being right and feeling good and feeling of sound mind and feeling calm and feeling balanced to be able to go out and play. And if and when that's off, all bets are off.
So if you play, and the matchup don't look like it right now, if they play the Pittsburgh Penguins in the playoffs,
well, you tell me.
Who do you go with? Like, that's my thing, is you threw a whole wrench in all of this. You didn't solve anything. Throw Bobrovsky out there.
I'd
Then at the
roll
end
Bob's,
of the day,
man.
at least you say, hey, listen, we put our best foot forward.
Yes.
We didn't get the job done in this game. But you don't know it's a mess. It's a goaltender. So that the situation went from a personnel mess, not knowing who they're going to have, whatever. Now they're creating a goaltending mess, I believe, in this kind of situation.
That's tough. And then it creates questions. That's the whole thing. You don't want to create any questions. I think that, again, for the 78th time to everybody in Ohio, I've been saying it all year, and Rupper, you're from there. So more importantly, you played there. This team has nice pieces.
Oh, I love it.
This team has the pieces.
I think that
they've got pieces, but you don't want to add any distractions to the pieces. And Stu Grimson was talking about it in our pregame show here today.
That's my point, though, is that when I sit here and I'm looking at it from a fan's point of view, and I'm going to use it, I'm like, part of me's thinking, I'm rooting for this team.
Yeah.
What they did and what Jarmo Kekalainen
did
in the tough spot they were in, and they go out and they add.
Bold.
This is what we all want to see in professional sport.
They went for it.
So I want them. They've done nothing but create.
Right.
And listen, Torts has created a culture there, and they've changed the thinking there. So lots of things have been going right. But all of those moves and all those things put in place to move this way, this move is moving this way. And that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that part. So either you're all in or you're not all in. And this was not an all-in move for me by not starting Bobrovsky in this game.
And also the thing is, all of that becomes moot. It's all moot if your tender is not ready to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everybody always says, your goalie is your most important player. Can't go anywhere without a goalie.
Right.
You need your goalie. No goalie, no game. No goalie, no win. You want to make sure that you keep that rolling in the right direction. So you're right, Rupper. I don't see how this is in keeping with the direction that they went on by way of trade deadline day. I like the moves. We all talk about the fact that you want teams that are proactive. And a lot of times, let's be fair, people will say in years past, well, we can't make deals, the salary cap. No. I like that Jarmo went for it.
Oh, it's awesome.
But now you're absolutely right. This is not in alignment with that.
And Matt Murray, by the way, at the other end of the ice, pitched a shutout.
Yes, you're right.
Stay hot. The 10th
career.
of his career.